Welcome to Judge Me Not, a safe place to have real conversations with real ass people. Hey y'all, welcome back to another week of Judge Me Not. I am your pretty cool host, at least I think so myself, EnviiDee. As always, y'all know I have to give thanks and let y'all know I appreciate y'all for fucking with the kid again. So look, this weekend we are going to talk about co-parenting, single parenting, and the joys that come along with that exploration. So the I had a conversation over this past week with an individual that is a single father, and believe it or not, there is an epidemic of single fathers, at least in the Houston area. I'm starting to meet way more single daddies than ever before. I love a good single daddy. It just, ooh, it's like they understand everything that I deal with, a concern, a worry, the schedule, like, because they're basically living parallel lives. However, it's not traditional. So oftentimes they find themselves isolated or feel like no one understands, which is unfortunate. And y'all know I'm all big for mental health and maintaining one's peace. But I'm listening to this conversation with this individual, and this is a conversation that I've heard often, and it is a situation or a dynamic of the male being the primary care provider for the child and the mother just um, not carrying her weight. I have a situation like this very close to me already outside of just friendships, but I know a few single fathers. Um, and just like it's tired ass baby daddies, it's some tired ass motherfucking baby mamas out here too. And it just is what it is. I feel like we don't talk about it often. It is something that is happening. Women are having kids and they don't want to stop living their life. So they put the kid off and walk away from that responsibility. It happens. It was really sad to listen to this individual talk about their struggles and things that I have went through, some things that I still go through. But to see the frustration on this individual and as how much turmoil it seems to have caused this individual really is something that I just don't understand. And it took me a while to get to this understanding, but once I realized it, it made my life easier. It made my household easier. It made the way I parent easier. But at the end of the day, you gotta motherfucking protect your peace. I mean, I don't care if I lay down with you and I said I loved you for 13 years and we had 12 kids. If at any point you are doing things that negatively affect our children and my peace as well as their peace currently and in the future, then it's gonna have to be some changes being made, because at the end of the day, it is about the child. It is not about either parent's comfort. It is not about accommodating, appeasing, or saving face to act like you're getting along for these children. These babies is very smart, and I'd rather my kids know the real and be raised in a healthy environment than to be raised around some fucked up situation and be exposed to some fucked up encounters because we tried to make some shit work when we shouldn't have, right? So, I feel like let me go ahead and give my piece. Of course, this is my piece, and this is how I feel it has made my parenting and co-parenting situation easier, and from communicating to other people who have went through divorce or separation or were never together, how they co-parent or maintain a copacetic environment to raise healthy children. So I adapted the same thing and it works. First and foremost, I feel like the biggest misconception is people look at co-parenting, just they look at marriage, like they look at relationships, and they just see a box. And if it does not fit in this box, then it can't be classified as co-parenting. I would say the first thing first, you have to tailor your idea of what co-parenting looks like for you and your child's other parent. It may not look like the same thing as your homeboy and your homegirl or your mama and your daddy and what they did. It may not look the same, it may not work the same, but you have to tailor a co-parenting experience that works for you two and the kids. At some point, it has to become with no inside influences, um no study guide, no mimicking of what somebody else has going on because it works for them. It may not work for y'all personalities, it may not work for y'all work schedules, it may not work for y'all time zones, you may not even be living in the same state. So you have to manipulate and tailor your co-parenting experience specifically for both parties involved. That's number one, right? If you find yourself in a situation like myself and unfortunately so many other people, and you have just procreated with somebody at an immature stage in life, or you have outgrown this person, or whatever it may be, and you now understand that you should have fucking known better. But the baby is here, the child is here. I feel like you have to take accountability for who you chose to have a child with. Period, point blank. I don't care if they are the worst person walking on earth. Reminding motherfuckers how bad a person is still not going to take care away from the fact that you laid up with this person and you procreated. So you had a role to play in this. The sooner that you take accountability for the type of person that you procreated with, the sooner that you can start seeing a motherfucker for who they are and where they are in life. See, my personal situation is I had my children young. I had my children, my son, right out of high school. I think I was 17, 18 when I pushed him out. I ain't know about no motherfucking life. I ain't have no job. I didn't have no career. I chose not to go to college. The nigga that I had a child with was already with a female. I had nothing, no blueprint, no guidance, and yet I decided I needed a child. Of course, I fast forward, I'm in my 30s now. This person is in their 40s now, but they have not grown at all. I've always had an idea of what type of person I want to be, what type of lifestyle I wanted to live, and what type of job it was. I may not have known the details of how to get there, but I'm a determined motherfucker. Once I say I want to do something, I'm a researcher, I'm a network, I'm gonna run my mouth, I'm gonna do what I need to do in order to get to where I need to get. So over the years, I have done that for myself. And now I'm nowhere where I want to be, but I'm constantly evolving as a person because I had the understanding. So I thought that we had the understanding that once we made a child out of love, we were going to do whatever it needed to be done to raise this child in a different environment, under different morals, values, so that they would not be affected negatively or exposed to negative things that made such a impact on our life, right? But everybody ain't ready to heal when you're ready to heal. Everybody ain't ready to grow when you're ready to grow. So sometimes shit just don't work out, right? And I feel like the reality is the parent that wears the most of the responsibility, the parent that takes on the children and the full-time responsibility of raising children by yourself, you are forced to mature. You're forced to evolve. You have to figure some shit out and make some shit shake with or without the other person. So of course you're going to evolve for the betterment of your children. You do not get a reward for that. You do not get a medal for that. You do not get on Facebook and blabble about your responsibility as a parent and expect to be patted on the back because this is a choice that you made. You just chose to have a child with someone who felt it comfortable and okay to walk away from that responsibility. So now you have to deal with the consequences of that choice. I cannot stand a motherfucker who feel like they deserve a trophy because they are a single parent. Get the fuck on. Coming from a single parent, bro, get the fuck on. Do what the fuck you got to do with or without that person. Stop making excuses, make some shit shake, and go do what it got to do for these babies. I'm the wrong motherfucker to complain to because I'd be like, so what's the game plan? How can I assist you? We're talking about solutions. We're not here doing no dry ass complaining, baby, because I can't afford a pity party for myself, so I sure can't help you throw one. Right? So it's like, then you be all stressed out, you worked up because you are hoarding on this idea of this motherfucker has walked away from the responsibility that you deal with every fucking day and they living their best life. They living their best life. They don't want to hear what the fuck you got to say. They're not trying to hear your feedback. They're manipulating what your advice that you're trying to give them for the betterment of your co-parenting situation, or that will have a positive impact on your child, but they not understanding that. So that's agitating you. Now you just big mad. Now you got high blood pressure. You can't even successfully date and find you another healthy relationship because you got all this baggage that you refuse to let go, and you are just bitter and you are miserable, and you ain't gonna admit it. You cause you what you gonna say is, I'm not bothered about what a motherfucker got going on. I got this over here. They a lousy parent. Woo woo wop wop. You gonna go 109 ways on how you not bothered and how much of a horrible person that is. But the truth is, you motherfucking bitter. You hurt. It's hard than a motherfucker. And you got to do a run sort of responsibility. I get it. I understand. You ain't got to say it out loud, but I already know. So you got some resentment. And now you angry. And now they the motherfucking disrupted your peace, living their best life, but your peace has been disrupted. And you got to take care of these babies. So now you got to put on a facade that everything is okay. So I'm listening to the little baby go off, and I'm just like, oh, this is so familiar because I've been there, done that. I understand exactly how you feel. I know your pain. I know your frustration. I know your tears. Like, it is a mirror looking at myself. And I just wanted to hug on the motherfucker. But it was just so much anger and so much frustration. And that kind of hurt that hurt my heart, because once you take accountability for who the fuck you done had a child with and you see them for where they are, okay, they not ready to heal. Okay, so they went through this, and this as a child. And although they said once they became a parent, they would never put their child through that, we are all aware that generational curses are motherfucking hard as fuck to actually break away and stay away from. Not everybody is built for such a commitment, and that's okay. If you are and you take on that and somebody chooses not to, you can't force that lifestyle on them. You got to see them for what they are. I feel like the sooner you realize that the other person has dropped the ball, you see them for what they are, you accept for what they can do without readjusting or manipulating what you already have going on as a full-time parent for these children, then it will be a tailored experience of co-parenting that works for you. But once you choose not to take accountability for who the fuck you had a baby with, and you not trying to see this motherfucker for who the fuck they currently are, and it just is what it is. Some people ain't gonna change. It just is what it is. I got a hateful ass baby daddy. And he don't know if he love me or he want to wish me dead. It's up and down and up. But I see him for where he is, and I know how I need to handle that situation. So now it has no effect on me, and it has very little effect on my child. Right? But I see the motherfucker for where they are. I'm never going to say they're a horrible dad, because he's great father. But I just see them for where they are in this current life cycle that they're going through, right? Because that ain't worth the headache or the heartache or the frustration or anything like that. And you're not about to disturb my peace, my nigga, because I got this over here. The bill's gonna get paid, the child gonna get taken care of. I'm gonna kiss boo-boos, I'm gonna make school programs, I'm gonna make it do what it do. So what I'm not gonna allow you to do is poke your head in, poke your head out, poke your head in, interrupt some shit, poke your head out. You get in where I tell you can fit in. And then this is how it works for our idea of co-parenting, right? Because that's how the complications come in. You don't see them for where they are, and you're trying to make them be somebody that they not. So that's where that static comes in. That's where argument comes in. That's where miscommunication comes in. That's where the drama comes in. You see somebody for where they are, you know how you got to deal with them. You, all right, I fucked up. I had this baby with this crazy motherfucker. And then you set healthy boundaries. That's like something in our community, in the Black household. It's like healthy boundaries is a very touchy topic. We don't believe in establishing healthy boundaries, because I don't understand why. Even within our family, we can have a fucking dysfunctional ass family and know our family dysfunctional. That don't mean you don't love them or nothing like that, but we will not set a healthy boundary to protect our peace out of fear of, I don't know, hurting somebody else's feelings. I don't know why we don't. But my advice is take accountability for who the fuck you had a baby with. see that motherfucker for what the fuck they are and who the fuck they are as an individual. And then you have to set healthy boundaries. Okay, I know you like to be in the streets on the weekends. Cool. Well, Monday through Friday, I need you to help me out during the week. Whatever you need to come up with for allowing them to have however much involvement that they can be responsible and reliable with, then you have to deal with that. Even if it is just braiding your baby hair, or even if it's just getting your child support on time. Bitch, maybe that's all a motherfucker can give at that point. And some people ain't even got that. So it always could be worse. But you have to set that boundaries. Okay, I know you can come through. You're going to follow through on this. This is what you good at. This is where you never drop the motherfucking ball. This is where I'm going to hold you accountable for. This is your responsibility. Continue to being responsible for that. Boom. You done got rid of all the motherfucking stress. I'm just saying. But you have also set boundaries that works for you, your household, your schedule with the kids, your work schedule, because you have most of the responsibility. You have the babies all the time. You have the kid majority of the time. You know what works, you know what don't. You know what ticks, what don't tick for them. Because the worst thing that I feel like happens in the Black community, we try so hard to co-parent, and you really can't even get along as two adults, but you're trying to force this square idea of co-parenting. And what ends up happening is you now have two polar opposite environments that these kids are hopping from, bouncing back, one environment, next environment, one environment, next environment. And you can play like you getting along in front of these kids all day. But once that baby is in this household, you cannot stop them from being around whatever fucking happens in that household, hearing whatever is being said in that household, and vice versa. There are some things that are going to be out of your control. So now you have a child that's confused. They have to manipulate their personality. They have to tweak their traits, their habits, their routine, because what's okay in this household might not be okay in this household. You get what I'm saying? That's a lot to deal with. That's why I'm big on therapy. Y'all know I'm big on therapy, baby. I tell my kids all the time, if you don't feel comfortable talking to me or my sisters or my mom or your grandparents or somebody in the family, if you don't feel comfortable talking to anybody, well then baby, maybe you need to talk to a therapist. We do family therapy. I want my children to know there is always somebody that they can come to and they can vent. If I piss them off and they say, well, mama, I think I need to talk to my therapist. Okay, because I done did something that you don't feel comfortable talking to me about. I feel like these kids are exposed to so much and they secretly hoard a lot of emotions very early on than what I was, and I'm only in my fucking 30s. These babies are growing up way more because they have more access to a plethora of fucking information. So they can Google, look up, TikTok, any fucking thing. And whether the information is right or wrong, positive, negative, you kind of have no control of that. So it's like trying to establish a cohesive co-parenting idea that works and doesn't make too much of a disconnection of how the child is being raised. That's the main goal. That's it. That's it. It ain't about the parents. It ain't about their feelings. It ain't about what you are or what you're not doing. It's about these motherfucking kids at the end of the day. That's what I feel. But again, this is what I had to come to understand in order for me to hold accountability in my choices of who I chose to have a child with. Once I worked through that, and it took me a while to work through that because I understand some people make it very, very, very fucking hard to work with them. Some people just ain't got the sense that God gave them. And then when you throw in responsibility and the very delicate nature of raising a child in the mix, whoo. So I get it. It is, some people will just purposely make it hard to come to any type of conclusion, understanding, the compromise. There are some people that are just bitter and just negative, and they just thrive off of negativity. But again, you got to take accountability, because at one point you saw something in this motherfucker that made you want to lay up with him, whether it was one time or it was for a few times. You was going through something clearly to have unprotected sex with this person. So you have a role to play. You got to take accountability. Meet them where they are. See them for what stage in life they are, financially, emotionally, spiritually. They have a car, they don't have a car. If they have a positive homestead, they don't. And you have to tailor your co-parenting experience. But you can't pour from an empty cup. So to the parents that are the primary provider and you have the babies majority of the time, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Mental health is key. It's already hard with wearing the responsibility of doing all the things, the appointments, school, daycare, the finances, the bills, working, trying to maintain your social life, and trying to be, it's a lot. It's already a lot. And then you trying to worry about another motherfucking adult and what they are and are not doing, who they are and ain't fucking with, what type of life they living and ain't living. You ain't got time for that. You don't have enough hours in a day to deal with that too. So you have to establish your idea of happiness and your idea of peace within your sacred space. And that is your home. That is where majority of the time your children or child spends their day, with you in your sacred space. So you got to build that foundation. That's where the healthy boundaries come in. Wait a motherfucking minute. I understand what you feel like you should be obligated to do, say, change, or whatever, because I've allowed you that's misconstrued conception that you actually run some shit. But the reality is you ain't running nothing. You not. I'm not saying it to make you feel belittled, but I'm saying, being that I have the majority of the responsibility, this is what works for me and the kids. If you would like to join in on this, I am not going to hinder you from doing what you can do. But you no longer have access to manipulate what we have set in stone and what is familiar for these kids. Healthy boundaries. And then it works. If not, I mean, unless you just like the chaos that comes with the toxicity of failed co-parenting, failed relationships, inability to be mature and have a communication and come to understanding. So there is always yelling, arguing, cussing, back and forth. Maybe you like that type of shit. I'm too old. Life too short, and it's already enough fucking shit going on in the world. What I'm not about to do is choose to add on some more shit. I'm good. Unless you like that, then that is what you're going to continue to get. Or you can maybe possibly think about some of the shit that I said. But you do you, and guess what? I'm gonna do me, baby, because at the end of the day, I'm smiling. Ain't nobody gonna take my peace. Ain't nobody gonna take my joy. And my kids are good. At the end of the day, whether the daddy is active or not active, whether they present, they ain't present, whether they doing child support, they not doing child support, whatever they are doing or not doing, what my kids will not be able to say is that they mama was not there. They mama was not present. They mama did not bust ass. They mama did not set a goal and achieve a goal and bring them along of every fucking step of the way. Child, please. And that's all I'm worried about. Period. But that's enough of me giving y'all my advice on what I feel like, could or could not work. I just want to see a motherfucking happy and a motherfucker at peace, because I already know it's a hard fucking job. But let's check out. How was your week? Anything exciting happened? What made you smile? Who checked in with you? Did you tell the people that you love them? If not, why haven't you? Life is short. Let's breathe in on this motherfucking moment and kind of, because that was a lot. And I know I probably took a band-aid off of some situations that you had just been dry ignoring. So maybe I did frustrate you. I'm sorry. I almost frustrated myself because, ooh. You know my beliefs. If you could take out some time on your day and listen to me, then life is pretty good. But again, I appreciate you for taking out your time and fucking with your girl. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Again, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to your feedback. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Judge Me Not. Again, that's Judge Me Not. Me is MII on Instagram and Twitter. I look forward to interacting with you guys. Peace, love, and blessings. Until next time.